Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking the incredibly complex state of the Brazilian economy as of April 2026. It's a really fascinating story, one where immediate danger is clashing head-on with some massive long-term ambition. So, what's the deal with Brazil's economy? Is it in crisis, or is it on the verge of some kind of breakthrough? Well, the short answer is yes. It's both. The nation is dealing with what experts are calling a polycrisis. And a polycrisis is, well, pretty much exactly what it sounds like. You've got multiple, totally separate crises that are all crashing into each other, and they're creating a combined mess that's way worse than any single one of them would be on its own. So for Brazil, this means they're basically fighting fires from outside the country while trying to rebuild entire house at the same time. And that creates this dual-track reality. It really is a tale of two Brazils, right? You've got one fighting today's storms, just trying to stay afloat, while the other is trying to lay the groundwork for a completely different future. All right, so first up, let's talk about that immediate danger, that first track. We're looking at a stagflation storm. Okay, so this chart right here really shows you the split in thinking. On one side, you have the government, pretty optimistic, forecasting 2.3% growth. But then look at the bar right next to it. That's what the market thinks, much more cautious, right? Only 1.85%. And that gap tells you a huge part of the story we're unpacking today. So why is the market so cautious? Well, this isn't your typical economic slowdown. There was a conflict in the Middle East back in February that sent a shockwave through supply chains. Now, here's the paradox. Brazil is a huge exporter of crude oil. But, and this is key, it still has to import a lot of refined products like diesel. That makes it super vulnerable to these global price spikes. And this table right here, this shows you exactly why the market is getting so anxious. Just look at the numbers. The inflation forecast has jumped from 3.91% to 4.31% in just 4 weeks. That is creeping dangerously close to the central bank's absolute ceiling of 4.5%. So you've got this toxic combination, right? Slowing growth on one hand and rising prices driven by costs on the other. And that has analysts worried about one word: stagflation. It is truly the worst of both worlds, and believe me, it is incredibly difficult to fight your way out of. So to combat that inflation, what does the central bank do? It pulls out its biggest weapon: hiking interest rates. And they're not just high, they're painfully high. The benchmark rate, the Selic, is at 14.75%. That is one of the highest rates on the planet, and it basically slams the brakes on the economy. It just makes it way too expensive for businesses and regular people to borrow and spend money. And here's the thing that's making it all worse: Brazil's enormous public debt. Take a look at this chart from last year. That tiny little slice, that's the actual operating deficit, which is, relatively small. But that giant blue chunk, what's that? That's just the interest they're paying on the debt they already have, a mind-boggling 7.91% of the entire economy's output. To put it another way, the interest payment is more than 18 times bigger than the deficit itself. The debt service is just eating the budget alive. Okay, so that's the storm, but let's switch to that other track, because at the exact same time, Brazil is rolling out this incredibly ambitious plan to completely rewire its entire economic engine for the future. And the absolute centerpiece of all this is the biggest tax reform they've seen in a generation. Now, the old system was just a mess. It was super complex, and it taxed goods where they were made. This led to what they called a fiscal war, where states would just slash taxes to try and steal factories from each other. The new system, it flips that completely on its head. It taxes goods where they're bought, creating one simplified national value-added tax. So this year, 2026, is basically a mandatory test drive for the whole thing. And it has this really slick innovation called split payment. Get this. Imagine you go buy a coffee. When you tap your card to pay, the system automatically splits the money. The coffee shop gets its share, and the tax portion goes straight to the government instantly. It's a system designed to make tax evasion, pretty much impossible. Okay, so here's the trade-off. The new system is way simpler, which is great, but the estimated tax rate is going to be around 26.5%. That's one of the highest VAT rates in the world. And they kind of need it that high to make sure government revenue doesn't just tank during the switch. But what it means for businesses is a massive economy-wide adjustment, as they have to reprice literally everything. At the very same time, Brazil is going all in on green energy. I mean, just last year, in 2025, wind and solar generated over a third of the country's electricity, That's a new record. Renewables are fast becoming the absolute cornerstone of their entire power grid. But, and this is a huge but, there's a massive roadblock. The energy production has exploded, but the power lines needed to carry it all just haven't kept up. This chart shows the result. In 2025, about 20%, 1/5 of all that clean energy that was generated just went to waste. It couldn't get to where it needed to go. And that wasn't just wasted energy, it was a loss of over 6 billion reals. You know, solving gigantic problems like tax reform and rebuilding a power grid, that's not just a technical puzzle, it's a political one. And that's where we are now. You've got these two tracks, the immediate economic crisis and the huge bet on the future. And they are set to collide head-on in this year's general election. And the latest polls show just how high the stakes are. It is an incredibly tight race. You've got the incumbent, President Lula, at 41%, and his main challenger, Flavio Bolsonaro, right behind him at 38%. I mean, that's a statistical dead heat. It is basically a rematch of the deep ideological fight that has defined Brazil for the last decade. And for voters, the choice could not be more stark. Do you continue with Lula's approach, state-led investment, pushing this big ecological transformation plan? Or do you pivot to Bolsonaro's platform, which is all about public security, privatization, and cutting red tape? We're talking two fundamentally different visions for the country. And you know, a lot of experts are saying that who wins the presidency is only half the battle. Who controls the legislature might be just as important. The Senate, especially, has really become this powerful check on whoever is in charge, turning politics less about policy and more into a raw battle over authority itself. Okay, so where does all this leave Brazil? Where is it headed? Well, the analysis lays out three potential paths forward for the economy. All right, here they are. The most likely scenario, with about a 45% probability, is a stagflationary slump. Basically, the country gets stuck with high inflation and low growth. But look how close the next one is. A stabilized recovery is almost as likely at 40%. The long shot, a true structural breakthrough, where all these big reforms actually pay off quickly. That's sitting at just a 15% chance. So when you boil it all down, it really comes to this, doesn't it? Brazil is building all the right tools to thrive. It's got a modern tax system on the way, a green energy future, an independent central bank. All the pieces are there. But the big question, the billion-dollar question, is whether its politics will get in the way. Can the country hold it together and maintain stability through this period of intense pressure? The potential is absolutely massive, but the path forward is incredibly narrow.